This is a recorded Golden Valley Speaks presentation for the regular Golden Valley Planning Commission meeting of February 13th, 2023. Agenda item number 4 is consideration of an amendment to the city's zoning map in order to rezone 10 properties in the southeast corner of the Winnetka Avenue Highway 55 intersection. These rezonings were first considered in 2020, but the City Council requested more information before taking action. The proposed changes would bring the properties into conformance with the future land use map in the 2040 Comprehensive Plan. There are no development proposals pending with the city at this location. The properties are located not far from City Hall and are bounded by Highway 55 to the north, Winnetka Avenue to the west, and Harold Avenue to the south. They consist of 8 single-family properties, a duplex, and a vacant lot that is owned by the city. A row of newer single-family homes along Rhode Island Avenue is to the east. The lots are currently zoned single-family residential, R1, but are guided for medium-density residential use in the city's comprehensive plan. The equivalent zoning for this type of designation is the medium-density residential zoning district, or R3. Here is a view of the area from the Winnetka-Harold intersection looking northeast. From mid-block on Harold looking to the northwest. From Harold and Rhode Island, looking northwest, this is one of the new single-family homes that was built in 2013, and a view of the Val d'Or townhome development to the south. All of these properties were guided for medium-density residential use in the 2030 Comp Plan adopted in 2010, and were considered for a rezoning from R1 to R3 in 2011. A traffic study conducted at that time recommended improvements to mitigate potential increases in congestion. Some improvements have since been completed. The Planning Commission conducted a public hearing on the rezonings and reported a split vote to the City Council. The City Council denied the rezonings, and the comp plan was subsequently amended to reflect the low-density residential use that continues today. As the 2040 comp plan was being created, the properties were again guided for medium-density residential use. The rezonings were first considered in 2020, but pending changes to the R3 zoning district caused a delay. Eventually, the Planning Commission recommended denial due to concerns around congestion, cut-through traffic, building height, and pedestrian safety. Faced with questions around traffic, the Council tabled the item to allow time for staff to collect additional information. The current zoning analysis covers 4 areas: the downtown traffic study conducted in 2022, pedestrian safety improvements currently underway, a pending Highway 55 BRT study, and notes on building height. A traffic study of the entire downtown was conducted in 2022 to evaluate the full build-out of the area given the land uses approved in the 2040 Comp Plan. It further examined trips that would be generated under a new R3 zoning designation in the southeast quadrant of Winnetka and Highway 55. The study revealed that the greatest number of trips would be generated from townhome development, but even then the trips generated would show negligible impacts on traffic congestion, no impacts to level of service during peak hours, and only 1 second of delay per vehicle at the Harold-Winnetka intersection. New pedestrian safety improvements are being installed for those crossing Winnetka near Harold. A rectangular rapid flashing beacon and an ADA-compliant pedestrian median will be fully operational early in 2023. The Winnetka Highway 55 intersection has been identified as the likely location for a station for a potential bus rapid transit line along Highway 55. Metro Transit and MnDOT have been discussing a feasibility study of the line, but at this point the timing of that study is unclear. Staff was able to draw on information about the target densities Metro Transit looks for when evaluating station areas for BRT operations. For Golden Valley, a minimum density of 12 units per acre and a target density of 25 to 50 units per acre is preferred within a half-mile of the station. A pending application to develop a site within the downtown would be enough to push this over the minimum requirement. In terms of building height comparisons to the 4 or 5 stories that would be allowed under R3 zoning, the Val d'Or townhomes are 2.5 stories. The Valley Square Corporate Center north of Highway 55 is 3 stories. The Valley Creek Office Park buildings are 4 stories, but sit on a hill, so feel more like 5. And the Calvary Apartments to the east of the Civic Campus are between 10 and 11 stories. The proposed multi-family building along the west edge of the downtown would be 6 stories. When viewed in the larger context, staff feels the potential height of a structure in the area proposed to be rezoned would not be out of scale. Staff have summarized in a table the range of uses, densities, and heights allowed in the R3 zoning district. Should the city choose not to rezone these properties, an amendment to the future land use map in the comp plan would be needed to maintain consistency between guided land use and zoning. Given the information provided, staff recommends approval of an amendment to the zoning map to rezone the 10 properties in question from single-family residential, R1, to medium-density residential, R3. Anyone interested in asking a question or providing public comment on this request can do so by filling out the online form at the bottom of this page, or by calling the phone number listed and leaving a voicemail. All comments that are consistent with the comment policy will be shared with the Planning Commission in advance of the live public hearing.